Alright, so I just got done watching the second episode of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. It was chapter 2. I just realized that they call them chapters in this series because it's an ongoing story, sort of. And it was called The Creeping Creatures. Basically, this episode is, the gang, for whatever reason, they're dry on mysteries and they end up in this place called Gatorsville. It used to make tons of money off of alligator-related paraphernalia, which is a very strange thing for a kid show. Like, I mean, because what kid in like someone who's 9 and 10 in the year 2010 when this aired, like what kind of kid is going to actually give a shit about alligator skin? Like, know that that's a thing that people cared about at any point in time. Like, I mean, maybe if your mom is like super swagged out or something, in alligator skin shoes or something. I don't even know. See, like I hardly understand that. Like that wasn't my first thought. I thought it was just like, yeah, they just Batman related, whatever. Got some gators, and they said the word gators a lot in this episode. Man, they said gators nonstop. I probably counted like at least 40 gators. Uh, but the gators, like at the beginning, it has the setup where there's a family driving through Gatorsville or whatever, and they stop for gas, and the dog runs out, and gators come out and attack the dog, and the little girl runs after him, and it's like, oh, it's Gator Man, woo! That's not super compelling. Here, people go, oh yeah, Gator Man, let's try. Fuck that. Like I don't, whatever, right? But the place is called Gatorsburg. Gatorsburg. I love that. I love Gatorsburg. Like Gatorsburg sounds like a town I would like to be in. Let's see what else we got. Okay, at the beginning of the episode, Daphne finds Fred. Fred has a bunch of magazines, and they're like sort of bored, flipping through magazines, trying to find a mystery to solve or something. And she finds his traps. As he's obsessed with traps, Fred. His Traps Illustrated swimsuit edition magazine. And that's just crazy. That's crazy. Like the pun of that again. Traps fucking illustrated a Disney kid show. Uh, I found it in this episode, especially Shaggy was at the beginning played very emotionally stunted, much like he was in the pilot, just in relation to how much he cares for his dog at a level versus humans, and the way that he's sort of like I think they think of him as sort of he's stuck in the middle school sort of mindset, whereas the other characters are a little more high school oriented. But it is interesting in this series. So far, I've found that the two male characters could very well develop into being much smarter, more capable. Whereas like you have Velma and Daphne, who are both extremely capable in comparison to Fred and Shaggy, except for Fred's ability to create traps and sort of be a de facto leader. Um, Velma is fucking horny though. It's crazy. She wants that Shaggy Rogers real bad, and they've given you no reason why one would be into Shaggy other than, I mean, maybe it's just because he's cool. Like Shaggy's cool. Like, I relate to Shaggy a little bit. Uh, yeah. But she's like like pulling on his shirt, like dragging him into the hotel room at one point, and they almost kiss, and then Scooby, is being attacked by Gator Men, and jumps on Shaggy right as they're about to pick. But Shaggy's like smiling about it, like Shaggy's definitely he's starting to feel it. He's starting to feel it now, and I'm glad that they're at least keeping that moving forward. I'm sure there'll be some kind of drama that mixes things up later on. Um, yeah, so Fred gives Daphne a scrapbook at some point in this that he has in his drawer. And she's like, "Oh, he made me a scrapbook. It's gonna have pictures of all good time. Oh wow!" And she opens it up. What is it? Traps. Traps. Got a book of traps. Yeah. I noticed in this episode too. Fred said comforter. He used the word comforter. I don't think I've ever heard like I wasn't sure that was a commonplace thing when I was growing up. The word comforter was used very synonymously with blanket, often referring to a bigger sort of blanket that you use on a bed. Um, and I found it was very like, whoa, you just said comforter. Like it really stuck out as a noticeable, intentional use of thesaurus dialogue. Uh, Let's see. I really like. I could keep saying stuff about this, but really. Oh, okay. There's a pun. There's a great pun in this episode. Mechanic comes out to help the gang when the mystery machine breaks down in Gatorsburg, and this mechanic guy is like, sort of gives him the rundown in Gatorsburg. He's like, "We're gruff from Gatorsburg. I'm Gatorsburg," and he uses the word gator a few times prior to saying he's like he uses the word gator in like sort of a accent, and it's care too, so it's like, "Hey, you gator." It was crazy. It was an unbelievable manipulation of the English language, and I was rather impressed by whoever they voice casted as this big gator loving mechanic fella. Um, in terms of the last episode, I talked about Daphne's upper strength or whatever, upper body strength. No, not much. No examples of it. Everyone in this series seems to have a good sprint. Pretty decent speed to them. Daphne, however, has been revealed that she's allergic to fake animal products. So she like wraps a gator thing around her arm, like a gator belt, towards the end of this episode, and she gets a bunch of hives all over her arm, and it's very peculiar. Uh, I feel like with Daphne, they seem to be backing themselves into potential continuity errors, and I'm looking forward to exploiting them or finding justification for them. Thank you for watching.